Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm playing some more Legacy and I'm playing this crab mill list. So this list involves crabs. So we've got Hedron Crab, Ruin Crab to try and mill our opponents with lands. I threw in some Exhibition Tidecallers to do a little bit of passive mill on any of my cantrips and various things like that. And then we're kind of just playing a little bit of a control plan while we wait to really just like find that one big turn where we can mill them the rest of the way out, catch them with an archive trap, something of that nature. So we'll see how this goes. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm on the play here in round one with a hand that has a quick grab and a fetch land, some flow states, or a flow state, some erodes. I think this is fine. Let's go ahead and keep this and try it out. The erodes over something like swords is specifically because I'm on the archive trap. If we can get them to search, we can archive trap them. Figured I'd call that out. Okay, opponent mulled to 5. I'm going to go ahead and just lead on Tundra and Crab. Opponent's got a wasteland. I don't mind. I've got another land already. Another Crab. Yield to the Ruin Crab. We'll go and play our Scalding Tarn. Do I fetch now? I think I'll wait and fetch. I don't need to get this second crab into play right this moment, so I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. Okay, opponent only had a wasteland. That seems good for me. Oh, I did forget to fetch, but that's okay. I can fetch here, get second crab into play, and then hold up another fetch land. Seems pretty good. I'm going to grab basic island here because then I can grab the Tundra or the archive or something off of the flooded strand after that. We'll play the flooded strand, target them, and then we'll pass the turn again. Opponent found a land. They've got a Volk. I'm going to lightning bolt my Ruin Crab. I will fetch in response here just to get some more mill. Get the Meticulous Archive. Do I care about Surgical? I suppose there's a world where I can just like take some of their win cons out of their deck. Like if I grab their Dragon Rage Channelers, that might be pretty good. I'll leave that on top. The opponent's down to 34 cards in deck. Now my crab can die. So I drew the Surgical. I don't have any instants or sorceries in the yard right now, which is mostly fine. I think I'm going to flow state here. It's a little one, but that's okay. Found a fetch land, which is great. I'll take that. Those can go back in any order. Play the fetch land. They have 5 cards in hand. I see 2 Dragon Rage Channelers already. What do I think is most important to take out of their deck? I am going to take the Dragon's Rage Channelers. Oh, and we even hit one. Cool. Make sure I actually click on everything. So they've got Force Brainstorm, Land, and Cutter. Cutter was another thing I thought about grabbing, but they're so far behind on lands, I think that this is fine. Okay. And I will simply pass the turn. Opponent drew a land for turn. That was not one of the lands we knew about. Yep, here's the Cutter. They're passing the turn there. I can get Ensnaring Bridge into play and have a road up. I'll do that. And I'll leave this fetch around for now. Alright, the Ensnaring Bridge was good enough for the Force. That's fine. Opponent has 1 card in hand. What did I lose? I lost track of something. Anyway, I will go ahead and pass turn. Oh, they pitched the Brainstorm. Duh. Okay, there's the Thundering Fall. Kept it on top. I'll go ahead and fetch in the instep. If I get the Mystic Sanctuary, I could put Flow State back on top. I could put Surgical on top. Do I care about any of that? No, I don't think right now that's what I care about. I'll just grab a Plains here. Oh, here we go. Each opponent mills 14. That's pretty solid. They only have 1 card in hand, so this probably works. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. All right, opponent is down to 7 cards. Lightning Bolt on my crab. Unfortunate, but I have to let it happen. They do get to trigger their bobble. That's fine. I do think I'm going to erode this monk because my opponent's just going to have a really hard time triggering Cutter more. All right, that was taken care of. Opponent gets their bobble draw. Okay, Brainstorm is something. Found another crab and a ponder. Lorien revealed. I don't think I need the Lorien revealed, although it is a shuffle and it's a land for this crab. Okay, I changed my mind. Let's put back Erode and Ponder, play crab, Island Cycle, Lorien revealed, play Mystic Sanctuary. Mystic Sanctuary will put, I guess if I just put Fractured Sanity on top, that's pretty good. Opponent's down to 2 cards. All right, they scoop it up there. Let's go to the sideboard. Okay, so opponent is on Delver. I don't want Force of Will. Hydroblast is pretty good, though. Wrath of the Skies might be decent. Rest in Peace also might be pretty decent. Doesn't let them Murktide or anything like that. Maybe just one of those. The Surgicals feel a little less important, especially if I'm bringing in a Rest in Peace. Maybe 1 Surgical, 1 Rest in Peace. I'm going to try that. This hand looks great. We'll go ahead and keep it. Opponent's got a Flooded Strand. Fetching right off the bat. Vulcan to Ponder. Okay. And a Bobble. All right. Pulling me. You got a second crab. Just lead on the Tundra into a crab, and I'll pass the turn. Opponent's got a Wasteland. I've got a handful of lands, so I don't really mind too much. That stinks. Okay. I had the Bolt for my first crab. Now they're Wastelanding me. That one does stink. Maybe I should wait and play crabs out when I am able to trigger them. There might be a world where that's true. Okay. So I think I'll just put the Marsh Flats into play here. And then I'll just pass the turn. Brainstorm. And I'll go ahead and fetch here. Get the Surveil land. Brainstorm's pretty good. We'll leave that on top. Okay, so here I can play a crab, play a Boro. Opponent's going to fetch in response. We got another Bolt. Tragic. That's fine. Nothing I can do to stop it anyway. They'll still get milled a little. I can go ahead and just play a second crab now. Oh, they have a force for that. Okay. Opponent really does not want these crabs in play, which makes sense. All right, I will simply pass the turn. Opponent's got a Polluted Delta. There's the Murktide. Don't love that. Need to find an answer for it pretty quick. That's not an answer for it. I'll brainstorm. There's one. Okay, so I want Erode. I don't care about Wrath of the Skies right now. That can go back. And the Ponder can go back for now. Yeah. I think that, well, or is it the Fractured Sanity? It's probably the Fractured Sanity, actually. Ponder keeps things moving. I don't have to fetch here either, so maybe I won't. I should put a second land into play, though, just in case they have days. Go ahead and kill Murktide while they only have 1 card in hand. They found Basic Island. I think I will go ahead and fetch and Ponder. I don't need that Fractured Sanity right now. I don't have any crabs at the moment to hold this Flooded Strand up for. Let's grab Basic Island. We found a crab. We found Ensnaring Bridge and a land. Okay, what order do I want these in? I can go... I don't need the bridge yet. I think that's the last one that I want. Draw a crab next turn, draw the plains now. Don't shuffle. And then, do I want to surgical them off of anything yet? I don't think so. I think we'll just pass the turn. Opponent got their Surveil land. Dumped another land. Okay. Here's a flow state. Do they have... How many instants and sorceries do they have? The only sorcery they have is Ponder. I could mess up this flow state by taking the Ponder out of the yard. I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, so let's take all of their Ponders. They just have a Force of Will in hand. Okay, so yeah, if they only have a couple cards in hand, that force is pretty bad. Now you can flow state, and you only get 1 card. There's a Corey Steelcutter. Okay, go to my turn. Play crab. Play plains. Mill you. We know your hand is just Force of Will. And then I think I'll go ahead and flow state here. I get 2 cards. I will take the Ensnaring Bridge and another crab. Go ahead and play the crab and pass the turn. What I'd like to see here is for my opponent to play a card so that they don't have... Play a card that is not a land, and then they don't have force, so I can get this Ensnaring Bridge into play. Instead, they didn't do anything, which makes me feel a little worse. Ooh, I found Fractured Sanity. That's pretty good too. I think I'd rather get the bridge into play, so I'm going to go with the Fractured Sanity first. Also, sorry for any weird background noise that you hear. The mowing person showed up right as I got started. Yep, okay, so there's the force. So opponent is hellbent now. I'll return a Boro to my hand so I can replay it, get a couple mills, and pass the turn. Opponent's down to 23 cards in deck. There's another Corey Steelcutter. Don't mind you having those when you don't have any cards in your hand. Ooh, Tidecaller. This is really cool. But for now, let's get this Ensnaring Bridge into play. We'll pick up this land again, replay it, and I guess I can go ahead and play this Tidecaller. Opponent is in a pretty bad spot here. They've got a Dragon's Rage Channeler. That's fine. Don't mind that. Can't get through my Ensnaring Bridge anyway. Yep, it still can't get through the Ensnaring Bridge, so that's fine. Okay, there's an Erode. So if something were to happen, I can use that to clear Dragon's Rage Channeler. It also can mill 3 cards. Feels a little wasteful, but I'm just going to pick up this land and put it back down. All right, opponent's down to 10 cards. Oh, I can... Yeah, I only have 1 land drop. I can't do that again. That'd be wild. Okay, I'll just pass the turn. I think opponent is now dead to mill, on assuming they didn't like draw something to remove any of the crabs. Yeah. I'll go ahead and do this now. The opponent's down to 6 cards in deck. So I just have to pick up and put back down this Aboro. Yep. And they see it. They scoop it up. All right. Really good showing for game 1 of this deck. I am excited for this league. Let's go and get to the second round. I'm on the play again in round 2. This hand doesn't do a lot. It does have a Brainstorm and a Flow State, but I don't have any of the crabs or anything. I think I'm going to mulligan that one. This one's a little sketchy with only 1 land, but I do have Brainstorm, and like a real terrible pinch, I could erode one of my own things to try and find another land. I'm going to try it, even though it's probably pretty risky. And I'm going to bottom 1 of the crabs. I probably don't need all 3 of them right now. All right. Opponent also mulligan to 6. I'm going to lead on Tundra. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here too, to see if I can get things set up. Okay, perfect. I'll put Brainstorm Island on top and pass the turn. We've got a Mishra's Bauble start. Is this another Delver matchup, or is this some sort of Affinity deck maybe? Underground Sea. Okay. And a Thoughtseize. All right, well, they're going to know what I'm up to real quick. Nothing I can do to stop this. There's no point in forcing it. They took the Erode. That's interesting. So maybe there's some sort of... Maybe it's like blue-black tempo or something, where they really wanted their creatures to live. Either way, it's time to play a crab and to play a fetch land. And I don't think there's any point in fetching here, so I will not, and I'll pass the turn. I have a Brainstorm on top of my deck, which I wouldn't really hate drawing, so I think I'll actually just wait and not fetch until I have a second crab in play. Opponent fetched another Underground Sea. I milled over a Force and a Fatal Push. Ooh, we've already got Murktide. Okay. It sucks to do this, but they didn't take the Force, so they probably have a Force, which does really suck. Do I try and force this anyway? Or do I just get a second crab into play? I'll force it, even though I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, they force back. Nothing I can do. That's fine. Now we're looking for Ensnaring Bridge. So I think we still don't fetch, draw the Brainstorm, and use it to dig. Brainstorm first. None of that is Ensnaring Bridge. That's unfortunate. Put back Island, Force of Will. Go ahead and fetch, grab basic Island, I guess. Play a Tundra. Let's Flow State. Hope we can find... Okay, we found the Ensnaring Bridge. Put that in my hand. And next turn, put it into play and hope it's good enough to keep me alive. Hope they don't have a Thoughtseize right here. That would be extremely terrible. We got a Tamiyo and a Brainstorm. None of that is Thoughtseize. Flipping Tamiyo is not the best for me. Actually, I don't know if I care about that. I take a big chunk from Murktide. Oh, I drew a road and ensnaring bridge. I'm going to try and get the ensnaring bridge into play first, and that just works. Okay, so for now we're safe. Tamiyo buys back a flow state, grows the Murktide, casting the flow state, found a land and a ponder. All of this is fine. All right, I drew a flooded strand. That's pretty good for crab reasons. I don't need to erode this Murktide yet, so I won't. I will play flooded strand. They mill over a few things, and go ahead and pass. Tamiyo's ticking up. Opponent found a wasteland. Inquisition. I mean, I might as well cast this, I guess. Insulates against me potentially losing the ensnaring bridge at some point. All right, they've got a push for my crabs, so I'll go ahead and fetch here. Get the Meticulous Archive. Tidecaller. Well, that's another thing that can help me mill them. I'll go ahead and leave that on top. Yep, you push my crab, waste my archive, which is fine. Nethergoyf, don't mind that either. I will put this Tidecaller into play and pass the turn. There's probably a world where I hold on to Tidecaller, but they have enough hand disruption that I think it's I think it's equally like fine in play versus in my hand as far as being protected goes against a deck like this. Guessing this is another escape. Yeah, sure. All right. If the bridge ever goes away, I'm in huge trouble, but that's been true the entire time. I'm gonna hold on to this island just to make them think about it. Think about what? I'm not entirely sure. Tamiyo's up to 7. Something that I could use to mill them when they attempt to draw half their deck. I guess no matter what, drawing half their deck is the same, right? Because my thing would resolve first, and then they would draw cards equal to half the number. So I can't actually get them with the Tamiyo, I don't think. But I can let them Tamiyo and then mill them for 14 plus some more, and that should be pretty good. Okay, here I will play the land and pass the turn. In theory, if they ultimate Tamiyo, I've got them. But if they don't ultimate Tamiyo, I'm not sure. Bowman, that's fine. Okay, draw cards equal to half the number in library. Yeah, I let you do that. I guess the likelihood of this thing resolving now is pretty low, but I don't know. Like I said, I can't get them because it's just going to be half no matter what, at least as far as my understanding. So mill 4, that's not enough. If they keep cantripping, though, I could definitely get them with the cycle. Do you even have lands left in your deck? No. Okay. Another Brainstorm. So that takes them to 7. And then back up to 9. Uh-oh. Well, yeah, that's bad. I think they have exact lethal, too, because I could block one of these, but I can't block the other 2 or the other 3, and it's exactly lethal. Yeah. All right. GG, opponent. I guess maybe I should have cycled off. I mean, they had to dig for that, obviously, so I don't know. That was a good game. All right, to the sideboard. Similar as before. Actually, they aren't red, so maybe the forces are better here. Hydros don't come in. Don't care about Consign. Erode might be pretty good. It's another good rest in peace game. It might just be those 3, honestly. Surgical's still pretty good here, although same as before, I can maybe trim on a surgical since I'm bringing in the rest in peace. They have ways to lift the bridge, but I think that's okay. This is tough. Maybe just down a little on the cantrips. I'll try that. That was a very close game. Okay, this hand doesn't really do anything. I will mulligan. This one also doesn't do a ton, but it does a little bit. I think I'm okay with keeping this one. Double surgical. It's kind of weird, but it might be okay. Okay, I'll keep this. I don't actually need 2 surgicals. I'll put one of those on bottom. I will play Polluted Delta, and I will pass the turn. They also have a polluted delta. I'm trying to decide if I could fetch Surveil and then play Crab, play Field of Ruin. I guess either way, I only end up with one landfall with a Crab in play next turn. I'll fetch in response to their fetch, and I'll get my Meticulous Archive. Mystic Sanctuary. You're good in the future. That's so tough. I think that's going in the graveyard. Opponent grabbed Island and Tamiyo. I got an Erode. I wonder if I should just Erode this Tamiyo now. I'm less worried about Tamiyo than I am a lot of their other things. Let's put the Crab into play. And play Field of Ruin. Milled over Bobble Delta Push. And pass. Tamiyo's going to make a clue. That's it for the opponent. Okay. Good news. I found another land. I could go ahead and get Ensnaring Bridge into play. I don't know that matters. Kaito, Murktide. Okay. What does that mean? Depends on if this Ensnaring Bridge resolves. That's what that means. I think I want to blow up their land, I think. I'm going to do that. They floated black. I'm going to get my basic. Does this come in tapped or untapped? It comes in untapped, so I'll get basic plains. Just basic island. And I can brainstorm if I want to. Opponent got basic swamp. Milled over Bowmaster, Nethergoyf, and Wasteland. I'll go ahead and move through phases, burn off their mana. Yeah, I thought about... I did consider surgicaling Bowmaster for this reason. I'll brainstorm over top. I guess they still just cast the Bowmaster if I try to surgical it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, the brainstorm was worth a force to them. It's fine. Now I can take Force of Wills out of their deck, which seems pretty good. I don't know if that's what I care about, though. It might be. We'll pass for now. I really want to take Brazen Borrowers out of their deck. I'd love to mill over one of those. I don't know how many they have, but just knowing that they are gone and that if this bridge gets into play, it stays in play would be super nice. Opponent's got another Underground Sea. Attacking with everything, which probably means... Well, they can't double Bowmaster. I'll put the Crab in front of the Bowmaster. Kaito is picking up Tamiyo. Now I wish I had surgical Kaitos out of the deck. This is another thing that just mostly won't matter if Ensnaring Bridge resolves, though. I guess they could still zero and get a lot of card selection. But I can also erode that, so I think that's fine. Second surgical. That is pretty sweet. Let's surgical the Force of Will on top. Okay. That's fine, because now you can't force my Ensnaring Bridge. And now that two of the forces are gone, I don't think that's what I want to surgical. I think I just wait on this other one. I've been missing a lot of land drops, which is obviously not ideal given what my deck is trying to do. Opponent found a Wasteland. Also not my favorite thing. It's all right. These two can get in. I'll block one of them. Kaito will surveil and then draw. Dumped Undercity Circulars and Thoughtseize. Drawn off a clue again, and we'll go to my turn. Okay, so I can attempt to surgical force again, and then I can erode and flow state. I think I like this plan. Their hand is Wasteland and a bunch of Goyfs, so I need to protect this Ensnaring Bridge with my life. Okay, so I will flow state. Second bridge is pretty good. The Zaboro is extremely good, though, because it lets me trigger Crab all the time. I do kind of want the second bridge more, I think. I wish this were a better flow state. I'm going to take the bridge. I'm going to go ahead and erode Kaito. They fail to find no more basics and pass. I'll feel very good once I get second bridge into play, which I do have to find a land for. They did have a Wasteland. They have another Wasteland, so taking this bridge was almost certainly a mistake. There's the Barrogoyf. Yeah, I think I'm going to lose because I just never found lands, and then that was just a big mistake. That card's super unhelpful. Yeah, and now I am getting stuff stuck in my hand, so Ensnaring Bridge isn't even doing anything. Yikes. Yeah, Netherglyph's going to be able to... Well, no, it's based on power, but still. It's slowly becoming a problem. Another Bowmaster would be not great. That's probably... What is this? Oh, this is another Netherglyph out of the graveyard, I think. Yeah, there's the Netherglyph. I take another damage. Oh, I'm going to take 2 damage. They had a snuff out. Yeah, okay. I think I'm good to concede here. Opponent had triple Wasteland, and I got by it. GG, opponent. Let's go to round 3. I'm on the draw here in round 3 with a hand that doesn't have any crabs, but we have the Tidecaller. I'm going to try this. I've got Tidecaller and a flow state, plenty of land, the force to protect the Tidecaller if I need to. Opponent immediately thought seizes. That's tough. I think I have to let that happen. Took the force, yeah. So I think I kind of figured that was what would get grabbed anyway. I'm going to play this basic plains and play my Tidecaller. Pass the turn. Hope I'm not dead. Opponent has Verdant Catacombs. Okay. Found a surgical. Nothing. I'm going to surgical right now. I'm going to start with this Brainstorm before I do anything else. Mill them with the Tidecaller. Reanimate, Bayou, Lotus Petal. Okay, so this is probably some sort of reanimator deck, given there's a reanimate right there. That is useful with this surgical in my hand. Okay, I think I would like to put... I think I'll put a Lorien on top. I don't really need that right now. I've got plenty of lands. And the second Brainstorm on top. And then I can start flow stating. I'll play the Flooded Strand, and I will pass the turn. Opponent's fetching in the instep. They grab their Surveil land. Did not get a free Entomb. Good. Got Polluted Delta, and just a pass. Okay. Drew that Brainstorm, which is fine. I was planning on fetching in the instep and forgot, which is okay. I'll go ahead and fire off that Brainstorm. We know one of the cards, but the others will be new. Ooh, opponent's got a fetch here. Oh, they're surveilling. Okay. Dumped Unmask. I hit Grizzlebrand, Cabal Therapy, and Careful Study. Okay. We found the Lorien revealed, which I'm going to put on top of the deck again. And I think basic plains can go on top of the deck. That's fine. Still not finding any crabs, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I'll fetch with the Flooded Strand here. Get basic plains. Play a Tundra. And I'll go ahead and flow state for 1. Milling them is obviously mildly risky, but with the surgical in hand, I don't feel too bad about it. We found Archive Trap, Crab, and the Lorien. I kind of want the Archive Trap because my opponent has like fetched a lot and whatnot, and if I could hit them for a big mill for free, that'd be kind of fun. The Crab is probably better. I'm going to take the Trap, and I will pass the turn. Hope that opponent doesn't have like a force of will to back up their inevitable reanimate. But then if they can't stop the ensnaring bridge, that'll be mostly fine. Here's the Unmask. So they're trying to take something out of my hand. This is where I must surgical the Grizzlebrand. Ugh. Now milling them is so scary because if I put another thing into their graveyard, that sucks. Because they're unmasking for a reason. I'm gonna mill myself here. Just clear some cards. Well, I would have liked the force, but that's okay. They've got a Shallow Grave over top. Dang. Okay. And they get to take my ensnaring bridge here. Yikes. Well, that's bad. I guess Shallow Grave is better for me than most other options, but they are gonna be able to draw a bunch of cards. Getting hit by Grizzlebrand once is not the worst. And, the more cards they draw, the less work I have to do. Jeez. They did not search at any point, did they? No, they haven't. So I cannot Archive Trap them. Yep, and they took the Archive Trap. Makes sense. There's a Lotus Petal. We'll study. Uh-oh. Things just got extremely worse, I think. Yeah, okay. So when it attacks, they're going to reveal. and hit presumably another big idiot. I'm going to let it happen. Just I want to see what else is in here other than Raph and Mikey, Grizzlebrand, Archon. Here comes the Archon. Just fishing for information here. I'm obviously dead, but I want to see what the Raph and Mikey flips into. Yeah, you can take my flow state. That's fine. Oh, they're not even going to attack with it to give me the information. All right. Fair enough. To the sideboard. Containment Priest, Rest in Peace, Erode. Maybe no Archive Traps. I think Big Mill is maybe not the thing I want to do. That one's an instant, though. I could potentially get them if they Grizzlebrand. Let's take out the Fractured Sanities. I obviously want the Ensnaring Bridge. Take out the Tidecallers and one Ponder. We'll try that. Come off the mill just a little bit for the pieces that I need to make sure that they don't just destroy me. Here we have one land, Lorien, and a couple crabs. I do have a roads to kill things if I need to. I'd feel much better if there's any hate in this hand, though. This is tough. I think I want to mulligan this one. Okay, this is better. Force blue card. Couple lands. The rest in peace and the archive trap. It's possible they've pivoted off of full reanimator, but I think rest in peace is probably pretty good against most of their other stuff too. I do have to put one of these back. I guess it's just the erode. I'll play Flooded Strand and pass. Opponent's got a fetch land. Looks like they're not gonna activate it though. That's okay. I've got another fetch land, but I'd like to get this rest in peace into play. I'll go ahead and fetch here. I'll get basic island, play the tundra, play rest in peace. Oh, you know, I should, if I'm bringing in rest in peace, I should cut flow states. That's a thing that I should be doing. Those don't work together at all. Okay. Got that. Now I can hope that that at least holds them off a little bit. There's the fetch. Let them resolve their fetch, and then I archive trap them. I kind of want to see if they keep this on top or not. Because if they keep it on top, then I can hit them with the trap and mill it. Oh, I guess I didn't get priority after that. That sucks. They did leave it on top too. Dang it. Dark Ritual. That's fine. Show and Tell. That is not fine. Lotus Petal. Another Lotus Petal. If you have a second send, I'm going to be so mad. Oh my gosh. Okay. Cool. I'll put Flooded Strand into play. They've got Grizzlebrand. Sure. Unmask. Yep, so I'm just going to lose this as well. Yeah, whatever. I'm really upset that I didn't get priority after that Surveil. I thought I would, since it was like I would go back to my priority before the end of the turn, but I misunderstood how rules work because they chances are some part of that was what they left on top with the Surveil. So that's really unfortunate. That's not good enough to do anything here. I need a road, which will not be good enough because they've drawn a million cards. Okay, discard a bunch of cards into exile. I draw a basic island. I don't want to concede yet, but I don't know how I ever win this game because I'm going to start getting hit with a Grizzlebrand and they're just going to get to draw a trillion cards. Sure, another show and tell attracts it. Okay, I'm good to concede here. All right, GG opponent. I knew that you were probably going to have a pivot, and yeah, it got me good. All right. Well, after a really good round one, the last two have been a lot less good, but let's go to round 4 and see if we can get something put back together here. I'm on the draw in round 4. This hand seems fine. We've got one of the mill cards, piece of removal, and handful of lands in the flow state. Sure. Obviously, Mystic Sanctuary is not super great right away, but I realistically have all of the lands to turn it on in my hand right now. Opponent is Basic Island Ponder Gaming. Sure. I also drew a Basic Island. I'll go ahead and put that into play. I'll go ahead and play the Tidecaller. Pass the turn. There's probably a world where I cast Flow State, target myself with the mill to try and mill over an instant and sorcery, but I just, with neither in the yard at the moment, I just don't think that's probably worth it. Opponent's got Polluted Delta. They're just passing the turn. Cool. I'd like to draw a spell. I've got so many lands. Can I have some spells, please? Nope, guess not. I'm just going to keep saving these fetch lands in case I draw a crab at some point. I'll play the Tundra. I'm going to go ahead and Flow State, honestly. It turns on any future ones, and I'm not really doing anything else. Start milling them. Milled over, Stifle, Wasteland. Okay, so this is, if it's a Stifle, this might be Dreadnought. I'll put Ponder in my hand, something that just keeps the cards moving. Put those back in any order, and I'll pass. Opponent has an in-step Brainstorm, and they can shuffle it away with the Polluted Delta if they want to. They do, in fact, shuffle it away and grab a Tundra. And they had a Swords for my Tidecaller. Unlucky. This might also just be like a blue-white Felia deck. Oh, geez, we've already got Murktide. Okay. I guess I do help any Murktide decks play their Murktides way more quickly. I'll put a Flooded Strand into play. Oh, I should have waited. If I'm going to Ponder, I might find a crab. I'm going to Ponder. I did find a crab, so I'll draw and play that. I'll put Borrow, Ponder, Crab. No shuffle. Play crab. Fetch another Tundra, which mills over Stifle, Felia, Arid Mesa. Okay. And they've got 3 cards in hand, so this might not work, but I'm going to attempt to erode the Murktide Regent. Just get that out of here. They do have a force. That's really unfortunate. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find a way to answer Murktide extremely quickly, or I'm going to have a really bad time. Ensnaring Bridge, another erode would be great. Although I have so many lands in my hand, Ensnaring Bridge is like not even the best. They've got a Ponder. Yeah, any of these Murktide decks are just a little rough because you give them, I mean, you could pretty quickly give them a Murktide on like turn 2, and that's no fun. Second Murktide is going to make this Murktide fudge enormous. Yikes. Okay, so now they've got an 11/11 and a 6/6. This is extremely bad. Murktide might be the worst card for my deck to go up against. Holy cow. Second crab sure is not going to help. Okay. I mean, I can Mystic Sanctuary erode back on top, but I don't have a way to draw it. And these Murktides are super lethal. All right, I'm going to concede. GG, opponent. Let's see if we have any solutions in the sideboard. Another erode, obviously. Another Rest in Peace match. I don't think anything else in my board is super helpful. Cut the forces because I don't think that they matter very much here. That deck's going to have way more counter magic than me. Oh, actually, we just talked about this. If I'm playing Rest in Peace, I should trim on flow states because they are way worse with Rest in Peace in play. This hand has Rest in Peace, Surgical, and Ensnaring Bridge. I don't have a blue card to protect the force, but maybe I can draw a blue card before I'm trying to cast it anyway. So I'll keep it. I'm going to Flooded Strand, and I'm going to go ahead and fetch my Surveil land here because they're a Stifle deck, and I sure don't want Stifled. I don't want this island either. I'll pass the turn. Opponent just has a basic island and passes the turn. Okay, it's not a blue card, but it is a second Rest in Peace, so that's mostly fine. I will put one of these Rest in Peace on the stack. All right, they've got a Brainstorm, presumably looking for a force. All right, the Rest in Peace is in. Sweet. I'll pass the turn. Now I just have to find cards that actually progress my game plan instead of just stopping one of the things my opponent does. Oh no, another fetch land. I'll put it into play. I still don't want Stifled, so I'm just gonna put second Rest in Peace into play and pass. I definitely need to draw something to do at this point. I can start milling and not have to worry about the Murktides, so I need to start actually milling them. Still not going to fetch. Here's a Field of Ruin. Do I put that into play? I will. I'll put that into play, and then I can at least play this Ensnaring Bridge without fetching. Okay. Opponent has another fetch land. They've just been land go the entire time. I'm going to continue to match that energy. Opponent got basic plains. At this point, I probably have enough lands that I could start fetching, but I don't really have a reason to. I have nothing in my hand that I need to cast. Okay. Finally found a card that does anything. I'm going to cast Brainstorm. Found Fractured Sanity and a crab and a land that I don't care about. I will put land on top. Play this crab. And I do have Force Blue card up now. If I need it, I'll just pass the turn. Opponent is doing a fetch. We're finally doing things. They grabbed a Tundra. Fetching again. Grabbed another Tundra. Okay, they're tapping out, so I will finally be able to fetch. Wrath of the Skies, X equals 3. Uh-oh. I bet they have a Force of Will to protect this, don't they? I do have to try and counter this. Yeah, they of course have a Force back. Okay, well, let's at least mill them a fair bit while we're here before we lose all of the things. So let's grab... I'll grab a basic plains. I'm just going to do all of these at once. It doesn't matter. Grab second basic island. Target you with that. And then if I give them any amount of mana, that's kind of bad. And we're going to go for it anyway. Blow up the Meticulous Archive. Oh, but I grabbed all my basics. Oh, I'm so dumb. Okay. Yep, that was real dumb. Missed 3 cards worth of mill there, which probably realistically is not the end of the world. There's a Tamiyo. Losing both my Rest in Peace and one of my Ensnaring Bridge is extremely bad. Okay, we found a new Ensnaring Bridge. That's pretty good. Let's do Flow State on bottom, then Ponder, then Bridge. Put this Bridge into play. That might not make sense. Maybe I should just be holding Bridge until it matters. But they did just have to fight for the Wrath of the Skies, so getting it in while the getting is good might make sense too. Opponent's got a Ponder. Tamiyo is going to make a clue. They're going to crack that and flip the Tamiyo. Looks like no. Okay. Got another Ponder. Go ahead and do that. I think I want this Flow State. Actually, if I Brainstorm first, Flow State is better. So let's do that. Don't shuffle. Draw the Brainstorm. Go ahead and cast that. Okay, we found another crab. That's good. Let's put back Polluted Delta Surgical for now. And I'll cast this Flow State. Grab Tidecaller and Delta. And I think I could play this land, but I'm going to hold it for the crab. We're going to pass the turn here. We got Felia. That is very good against my Ensnaring Bridge. Well, at the moment, because it can attack. Theoretically, if I get my hand low enough, Felia can't attack, and then it doesn't really matter. Felia probably actually blinks Tamiyo here, just to get bigger. Nope, it is the bridge. That's fine. Oh, they want to flip the Tamiyo, that's why. Alright, Tamiyo flips, which is bad for me, but them drawing half their deck, theoretically, good for me. At some point, sort of. It's mostly bad, let's be real. They've got a million cards to play. Oh, they might stifle this Felia trigger too to keep my Ensnaring Bridge out of play. That very well might be what's about to happen. Yep. Consign, yeah. Okay, well that's bad. I have no Rest in Peace, no Ensnaring Bridge left at this point. I could Surgical Wrath of the Skies just because that's a card I don't want to see again. I should wait and try and mill over a Murktide and Surgical that, I think. Let's put the crab in play. Play a fetch land. Okay, we did hit a Murktide, so I can take those out of the deck. That is pretty okay. It's better than nothing. We'll get Tidecaller into play. Come on. Alright, well, at least fetch over top. Let's get the Mystic Sanctuary. Oh, I'm going to end up searching here anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, wait, it searches for basics. I don't have to search, so I won't. I'll put Flow State on top. Yeah, I'm out of basics anyway. We established that earlier when I was dumb. That's fine. Don't use the ability. Okay, and now I'm going to attempt to surgical. And Quantum Riddler's also extremely bad, but Murktide's just super terrible for me. There's probably more Riddlers in the deck, so I probably should have targeted Riddler. They only have one Riddler left as well, so if I find the other surgical and I take Riddler out of the deck, they're basically out of win conditions. I mean, they could technically kill me with Ophelia, but if I get crabs into play, they can block Ophelia pretty well. Opponent has Arid Mesa, Swords on my Tidecaller. Yeah, nothing I can do to stop that. Tamiyo bought back a consigned memory. Ophelia is coming in, just blinking the Tamiyo, so it'll come back as a creature. All right. Well, hopefully this flow state resolves. My hopes aren't super high. Yeah, hardcast force. All right. This is gonna be bad, I think. I think that Wrath of the Skies just set me too far back. I got too greedy trying to make sure I was insulated against like single target removal and got just completely obliterated by the Wrath of the Skies. Oh, and here's the Riddler. Yeah, this feels pretty over. I'll take a draw, I guess. I mean, it would never resolve though, right? There's theoretically a world where like Fractured Sanity or Archive Trap could get me pretty close to okay. It depends on if they draw more cards. Well, they should draw a card here. Yeah. So I think I'm drawing to exactly Fractured Sanity. No. Okay, hold on. Is there... So they're going to draw one card for turn, which puts them at 13. I need them to either fetch a land out of their deck or draw one more card and then this somehow resolve. This somehow resolving seems pretty impossible, but we'll find out. It's my one out here, which they don't really have to do anything, so they probably won't. But maybe there's a world where they put something on the stack and then I can get them with this Archive Trap. Nope. just to get the deck empty, I want to do it. Does it resolve? Yeah. All right, they had days. GG's opponent. All right. Well, after a very good first round, things have gone very poorly. Let's go to the final round and see if we can get any play points out of this league. I'm on the draw in the final round, trying to at least get a second win on the board. Maybe not pair into a Murktide or Reanimator deck. That'd be pretty cool. This hand doesn't really have a lot of the mill cards, but it has Ponder. I'm going to keep it. It keeps cards going around, and I can at least do some things. Opponent's just got Polluted Delta and passes the turn. I will just Island and Ponder here. Brainstorm, Flow State, and Flooded Strand. The Brainstorm turns on the Flow State. I'm okay with that. I don't need the land at all, so let's put land on bottom, then Flow State, then Brainstorm. We won't shuffle, and I'll pass the turn. Opponent has Thundering Falls with their fetch. They dumped a Flooded Strand. Got another Flooded Strand. Mishra's Bauble. Okay, this is probably Delver again. Got another Murktide deck. Talk about just hitting all the worst matchups you could possibly hit. Opponent draws off their Bauble. There's my Flow State. I will play this Tundra and cast a Brainstorm. I should have played one of the fetch lands, I guess, and then I should have tapped the island. I am just all sorts of a mess. Okay, this is fine because I can put back land, and then I can get rid of one of those after I draw it next turn. That was definitely a really sloppy turn that should have been played a lot better. Opponent's got a Brainstorm. At least I haven't been milling them a bunch yet, so I don't just get turn 2 Murktided. Opponent's going to fetch after their Brainstorm. Grab their Volk. There's a Wasteland. Joke's on you, I have way too many lands. After wasting my Tundra, are they already Murktiding? No, okay. Kind of looked like they were trying to Murktide. Maybe they still are. Yep, there's the Murktide already. Little one, it's 4/4, but still. They've got a Mishra's Bauble. They're going to go ahead and crack that. I will try to erode this Murktide on my turn, which means I still won't be flow stating. Play a Flooded Strand. Go ahead and fetch for Tundra. Let's just erode this Murktide. Get it out of here. Opponent has at least one basic. They found an island. I'll pass the turn. There's a Preordain. Okay. Flooded Strand. And they're just passing there. Okay. Surgical Extraction on Murktide's pretty good. Make that problem not a problem anymore. I'll play basic planes. Flow state off of my basics. We found Crab and Archive Trap. I like that. Do I actually want to play this Crab? I can wait and play the Crab next turn and be able to play a land and trigger it immediately. I think I prefer that. I'm going to go ahead and Surgical Murktide. I just don't want to deal with those. They get really big and I fill the graveyard so much. They have a force for that, which probably means they have another Murktide. I'm going to force back pitching the Fractured Sanity. Okay. They didn't have another Murktide. They've got Unholy Heat, Daze, and Lightning Bolt. Lots of removal for my Crab, which is unfortunate. Let's get the Murktides out of there. Don't play Crab and pass the turn. There's a Dragon Rage Channeler. Yep. Opponent didn't do any searching. My Archive Trap didn't work. That's okay, though. We know they have some removal for Crab, but I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to put it into play and then play a land and not do anything with that land. Yield to that. Okay, and they didn't bolt it in response, which is fine. I'll just pass the turn. The Channelers do have to attack, which is a little unfortunate for me, but that's okay. Just need to find Ensnaring Bridge and I'll be in much better shape. I have no reason to activate this right now, so I won't. There's Tidecaller, that's pretty sweet. Put it into play and then pass the turn. All right, I've got an Unholy Heat targeting my Tidecaller. Yeah, unfortunate, but understandable. Yeah, Tidecaller down. I'd much rather them kill that one than the Crab, so opponent's still not fetching. They've got a flow state. Sure. Dumped a Wasteland. They've got a Volk. Bauble. Cracking their Bauble. Dragon's Rage get in for another 3. I definitely need to find removal or Ensnaring Bridge for that pretty quickly. I'm not winning this race at all. Aboro's pretty good for this. My Crab's not going to live forever, but I'll go ahead and put the Aboro into play. Actually, how many Wastelands have we seen so far? A couple? I think they used one and milled over another. I'll hold on to that for now. Milled over another Wasteland. Okay, I feel a little better about it going forward. I'll go ahead and just pass the turn. Opponent's got another fetch land. Quarry Steelcutter. That one's pretty bad for me. They surveilled to top. Okay, here's the bolt. I'm going to fetch in response. Get a Tundra. I kind of wanted the Mystic Sanctuary. I should have done this differently. That's okay. Look at the Meticular. Look at the Tundra again here. And then the opponent's getting very close to just getting completely blown out by Archive Trap. I'm going to go ahead and let this happen now. Okay, now my Crab dies. I take a bunch of damage down to 3. Opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. Is now when I trap them. I think maybe they haven't seen Archive Trap yet, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, there's something to do. Grab and then land and then Archive Trap. Oh, they've got a force. Okay. Yikes. No response to the Monk. No response to Dragon's Rage Channeler. They left it on top. Yeah, nothing I can really do about that. Tragic. Play my land past the turn. I don't think they're gonna do anything before they just attack and kill me. So I don't want them to know about this archive trap unless they weirdly rip off a brainstorm here or something. All right. They got me. They did not do anything to the sideboard. Okay. Yet another Murktide matchup. It's ridiculous. Here's Rest in Peace. Here's a Road. They are going to bring in Pyros. I'll bring in Hydros. Cut the Force of Wills. Cut a couple flow states because of the Rest in Peace. Works for me. I brought in Wrath last time, but I don't think that's actually what I want. I think this is better. We'll see if we can beat Delver again. This hand just lands, basically. There's a Ponder and a flow state. Oh, geez. I think I want to mulligan this. I like this hand more. I'll keep it. It just does more stuff. Let's put back... I'm going to put back the Brainstorm because I'm going to have to use my fetch to cast whatever cantrip. I will just play a Flooded Strand. No, let's go ahead and Ponder. Let's just get things set up. I only have blue cards right now, so a basic island is fine. I don't want to get too many basics, though. This is pretty good. Let's draw a road, or Tidecaller, then a road, then Tundra. Or, hold on. I want to draw the Tundra. I want a road to be last. So let's put these like this. Don't shuffle. This is fine. And pass the turn. Of course, my opponent still doesn't have a fetch. Come on. All right, they're pondering. We have not once gotten to get anyone with an archive trap, which is wild. I can kind of force the issue with a Field of Ruin, but just kind of wild that it keeps missing. All right. They did not shuffle their ponder. I think here we go grab land pass, hold up Hydro. Okay, they're using a Force of Will on my crab. That's fine. Land, I'm still going to hold up the Pyro or the Hydroblast just in case. Opponent's got another non-fetch land. Quarry Steelcutter. I don't want to fight against that. Mishra's Bobble. So they had the Bobble to activate to trigger the Steelcutter. Oh, I wonder if they at some point saw the archive trap off of a Bobble, and that's why they never cracked fetches or anything and have been playing around it so well. There's my Erode. I can Field of Ruin them. I will. Because if they don't decline it, then that lets me archive trap them as well. Let's get basic island. I can Tidecaller and then archive trap. They also got basic island. Mill them for 16. Hopefully. Yep. Sadly, I don't see any Murktides in. Oh, there's one Murktide. Okay. Hopefully they're not holding another one. But if they are, I have a road at least one layer of trying to get rid of it. I'd love to draw Ensnaring Bridge. That'd make me feel a lot better. Opponent's got a Brainstorm. Polluted Delta. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch. Is this Murktide? Are we getting giant Murktided? No, Pyroblast. Okay. That feels less bad. Okay, now I can take the Murktides out of the equation. That seems pretty good. Let's just do that. That's the thing I'm most afraid of right this very second is a Murktide. All right. They have Quarry Steelcutter, Wasteland, and Prismari Charm. Okay, so Ensnaring Bridge can get bounced if I end up finding that. Okay. And I simply pass the turn. I need to start drawing some cards that do something, though. Opponent's got the Wasteland. Quarry Steelcutter. Is that open? Prismari Charm to trigger the Steelcutter. Sure. All right. They used all of the cards we knew about. I could kill this Monk, but I don't think it's worth it. If they were Hellbent, I probably would, but with them having cards in hand to just re-trigger Steelcutter, I don't think that's what I want to do. I'll just take the damage here. Okay, we found another crab. What we didn't find was a land to immediately trigger it. So I'm just going to pass the turn. There's Dragon's Rage Channeler and a Flow State. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to do anything here. I'll take 4. I guess if I was going to erode, I should have done it before the Flow State resolved. Well, now I'm going to do it now because they've forced my hand. Okay. A land is better than nothing. A fetch land would have felt even better. But I'll go ahead and play this and pass the turn. Still looking for Ensnaring Bridge. There's a Ponder and a Mishra's Bauble to trigger the Cutter. 3, 6, 8 damage so far. Okay, this might be lethal now. I think this is in fact lethal. All right, GG's opponent. I just can't deal with these decks that love their graveyard so much. Let's go debrief the league. Okay, so that was Tidecaller Crab Mill. That was a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very toxic league towards our deck specifically. We played 4 Murktide Regent decks and Reanimator while trying to fill our opponent's graveyard with all of their cards. Not really what you're looking for if you're playing a mill deck. Overall, I do think the deck is really cool. Round 1 was awesome. When we got to kind of do the thing, actually was, we were successful. We had a couple of games in the other rounds that we lost that were also really fun and showed off what the deck can do pretty well. Some things that I maybe would change if I played this in the future. I'm not sure Tidecaller is really the sauce. There's just not a ton of triggering it going on compared to the crabs. I think I would get rid of the archive traps. They obviously are really good when they do hit, but when they don't, they suck and they're a million mana. I'd almost rather those just be 2 more Fractured Sanities, since I could cycle those off if I need to. I'd love more Ensnaring Bridge. This card gives you the time you need to actually kill your opponent through mill. I think more Ensnaring Bridge would be great. Otherwise, I don't know how many other changes I would make, but the Archive Trap felt bad. Ensnaring Bridge felt completely necessary, and I wasn't finding it often enough. The Surgicals maybe could be more of a sideboard piece, or at least maybe 1 or 2 in the sideboard and, 1 or 2 in the deck. But overall, very cool deck. Enjoyed playing it. Hope you enjoyed watching it. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't, please like, comment, and subscribe. I could really use an uptick in subscriber count. So just double check, make sure you've done that. And otherwise, I will see you next time.